Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
You've all sacrificed so much to be here and be a part of this thing we're doing. This crew is made up of couples. It's the first ever large-scale colonization mission. And everyone back on Earth is really grateful for your hard work and your courage. We're making history here.
This is weird. What are the odds of finding human vegetation this far from Earth?
Who planted it? You hear that?
What?
Nothing. No birds. No animals. Nothing. What happened here?
What's happening?
I need you back here right now. I need you.
Okay, baby, just calm down, sweetheart. Calm down.
Tell me to calm down.
You're breaking up.
All of this is to start our new life. Where is it?
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by...
Marcus Hurley.
Okay.
So...
Right then. So,
should we dim the lights and hear Geiger spinning in his grave? No. I don't know.
So, yeah. Alien Covenant. We both saw this. It was actually a couple of weeks ago at the time of recording that we saw it. So, I have since listened to a lot of other reviews on this film, and I don't want my judgment to be too coloured. I'll say straight away that I had my expectations firmly in check, so I did actually enjoy the film quite a bit.
I did. I was expecting a Prometheus sequel, and it was, because it was.
Yes.
But I wasn't expecting to have the kind of visual feels of an Alien film, which it also gave me. Just something about the way the corridors were and the way that the first half of the film, even though it was very, it's another crew, how many of these people are expendable, but that's all Alien. You know, that's all the Alien franchise. People turn up and you're like, how are they going to die? That's pretty much...
We'll try and save spoilers to the end.
Yeah, we will.
So we won't need to go into specifics, but I mean, we're not going to go on for ages about this.
God,
anyway.
the world building though, I loved it. That's what I've realised. This is what I love about these films. It's the big, not necessarily crazy batshit grandiose stuff, but it's just the way that they do it, the way they design new ships, the way that people are, systems, the way the crew are. When you see like the cryo units and everything, I loved all of that more than what they were actually saying. I just found myself sitting back and just sort of soaking it all in, thinking this is quite a nice little world. It felt like it could be something like Mass Effect or anything like that, but it felt real. Like these are actual people going off into the Great Black and just, trying to find somewhere to settle.
Yeah, well, it was couples in space this time.
Yes.
We've had Marines, we've had scientists, we've had convicts, we've had mercenaries, but this time it's couples in space. And, I quite liked it.
We had miners as well.
Miners. Which one was
the first
Miners?
one, the Alien film. They were all...
Oh, yeah, that's
they were
right.
oil
They were
company
mining.
or riggers, weren't they, or whatever. Yeah. I forget
That's
that.
right. Yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it? You just think they're just spacemen. But, no, so, definitely a direct sequel to Prometheus, but also much more a conventional Alien film, with all those trappings. It's when it kind of, I guess we should probably just do spoilers from now on.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Warning.
Yeah.
Reach safe minimal distance.
Then it kind of gets down to the planet, and we meet David again from Prometheus.
God. Yeah.
And it all starts to get a little bit philosophical. And I mean, I'm quite into the idea that, you know, man created robot created thing that is superior, that needs to bond with man to reach its final form. I'm quite into that. I know a lot of people have been put off by the fact that it is so navel gazy and sort of obsessed with this thing about creation. And also, interestingly, I was reading something the other day where they were saying it's almost like Ridley Scott wants to explore the themes of Blade Runner in this franchise. Yeah. It's like why do it in this?
Why? What is existence? What is? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that he's kind of using this franchise as a sort of jumping off point for a bigger conversation about sort of creationism and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, I kind of wonder if he's kind of got into this because he had so much trouble getting Blade Runner sequel greenlit, and now he's kind of kicking himself going, damn it, because now they're making a Blade Runner movie, which incidentally looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
There
was one element about it, and I haven't read any reviews. This was my own sort of take from it. I did feel as though I'm not going to say he's doing a full-on George Lucas with it, but he started tinkering with the lore with Prometheus and little bits and pieces. Because when we first heard about Prometheus, we thought, we all know how this is going to end. It's going to be what they called the space jockey in a derelict ship with his chest torn open, as we saw in Aliens or Alien? Alien, it was the first Alien film. You know, we saw the ship, we saw everything, we knew we thought that was how the end was going to go. So when we saw the end of the film, and then the part that was tacked on in the first Prometheus one, we were a bit like, okay, it's a bit weird. Didn't quite make sense for me, personally, because in the first Prometheus film, we saw it was meant to be in there as an Easter egg, because you weren't meant to see any xenomorphs or anything like that. So you saw a mural on the wall, and in the mural there is a xenomorph in there, and it was supposed to be in there as a kind of Easter egg, but the xenomorph in there is the xenomorph that we all know. So having the protomorph, I think the term is for them or whatever, the one that you saw at the end of the first Prometheus film, and by the way, when that came out, it was black. So I was wondering why the ones that came out were now white. It's a bit strange. There's a little bit of disconnect with the synergy, I felt. But I loved it as a horror sci-fi. God, there were some bits that creeped me out so much in that film. I just found them terrifying, to be honest.
I think the reason they're white is because they were the spore.
As opposed to the other one where it was the big tentacly creature that got the other one. Yeah, that might be the reason why.
Yeah, it was the weaponized form of them that's what happened there. But yeah, I thought that was quite bold of them to land on the planet without any spacesuits on.
Yeah, I thought that was rather stupid. Also, whilst we're talking about stupid, that doctor, how many years in space? Surely, you know, survival instincts must kick in. And this is a massive spoiler, but I'm sorry, if one of my friends comes back from a foreign planet with someone who's juddering around like in a horror movie with spines coming out of their spine and blood spraying out, I'm not opening that fucking door again.
No.
Or going back in that room. That room is stayed shut forever.
Yeah. No, we're definitely full spoilers here.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me was the thing that kind of wound me up a little bit was the license they took with the gestation period.
Yes.
Like, it sort of seems like the one comes out of Billy Crudup, like, sort of almost immediately.
Yeah. That was Alien vs Predator level of gestation. They had to kind of wait for the dramatically amount of time it would take for them to get back on the ship for it to hatch on the other guy. So I found that was a little bit fucking crap, to be honest. And the face hugger was just like, well, initially John Hurt went down to the ship, face hugger got him, melted through the helmet, they brought him back, they kept him there, observation, then it fell off of his own accord. Then he went for a meal, and it was part way through the meal to the point where they thought he was fine, and then the chest burster came out, and it was a chest burster. What we saw was none of that. That's the only thing I would say that really got me about this whole thing. That's the only bit that kind of marred me, really. I thought the rest of it was kind of great. I loved the nods to traditional Alien films and stuff. The crane battle on the space, on the lift, the cargo lift, was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that was a nice little nod to the Aliens.
Yeah,
I thought that sort of level of sort of
my heart was in my mouth
spectacle.
with that sequence, that scene, that setup was just so good. It was almost like they were on a battle platform and it was just hovering. And when she was swinging below it as well, and I thought now we know why she's got the curly hair, because there's a touch of Ellen Ripley about her.
Definitely for sure. I mean, as for like I was going to mention like some of the casting. Catherine Waterston's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But Franco. Yeah, because they brought out that prologue. Did you watch that prologue video?
Oh no, I missed that.
In it.
He's in it.
Yeah, they did it. It was like a 5-minute trailer where it's got all of them, and it's before they all go into cryo sleep because they all come out at the start of the film. So there's a prologue out on YouTube, and you can just watch it, and it's kind of them just sort of like at the beginning of their mission.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting Franco to be in it, and hence there was a lot of remarks about Pineapple Express in space because of Franco and Danny McBride both being in it. But it turns out that Franco's role in it is not very much at all.
No.
But it's kind
minimal.
of cool to be able to start the film off with like a major A-list actor being horribly
I think Steven Seagal in what was that film? It was Steven Seagal with Kurt Russell, and he gets taken out in the first 10 minutes of it. It was an old 80s film, and it's basically like they have to go from one plane to another, and he doesn't make it. Big, massive name, his name's on the front of it, doesn't survive 10 minutes of the film. I thought that was like one of the shortest time that one of the main stars of a film just gets removed. But I think this must be a new personal record, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got no idea. I haven't watched one of his films for ages.
No, I know. I can't remember anyway. But carry on.
Yeah, but I thought Danny McBride did a really good job of kind of playing the sort of role that Matey played back in the second one, Hudson. You know, He played the kind of Hudson role. His name's Tennessee. You know, he's a bit freewheeling, bit of a redneck kind of guy. Like, I guess he's like our way in to an extent. You know, everyman kind of guy. And Fassbender absolutely owning it as David and Walter.
Yes.
I mean, that twist, I could see that happening a mile off.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was so horrible when he's putting her back into cryosleep, and she sort of says that thing to him that's like the thing that only he would know.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know the answer, and she knows it's too late.
I just thought the way that the ending of it was so creepy. It was almost like the Ellen Ripley signing off sort of thing, but the horror of you don't even see the horror of what happened. You just know that he's got this entire ship full of people, and they're at his mercy. It's just
absolutely. I'm quite interested in seeing how they do tie it eventually to the originals, because it's still got to end with them finding a creator ship.
I know
that's got the eggs in it.
Yeah.
So at some point it's going to have to sync up, but apparently the word is that Ridley Scott's just going to keep making these films for the rest of his life.
Well, true.
So
I don't know. What is it going to be like? There's 6 prequels before you get to Alien or something like that, and then
I've
suddenly,
no idea.
I tell you what, if they re-release Alien and it's like episode 15, I'm going to be a bit miffed if they start sticking a pre-title before it or something.
Well, maybe they'll like cross over that and then go off in another direction.
Well,
maybe
it would be interesting. I would like to see more of that, because I would love to see the Alien world opened up. I thought that Alien versus Predator was going to be the way to do it, but unfortunately that was just that was just a farce, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I love the Dark Horse comics of that series, where you had the whole different types of aliens. Some were ingested with like snake creatures, so they were like, you have the part xenomorph and it's like an alien queen, and the rest of it's like a giant, huge serpent sort of thing, and you had all the variations and all this sort of stuff, which we kind of saw hints of with Alien 3, where you had the one that came out of the dog, and it was more dog-sized and sort of 4-legged than the other one. So that was like a hint to it.
Version.
Yeah, but that was a hint to the whole way that these xenomorphs, basically, the perfect form is because it comes out of a humanoid host, and that defines the way it looks. But those series were a travesty. I kind of enjoyed the first one, but I didn't like the way that it went off. I like the idea that they introduced the woman that went off and would have been trained with the Predators, which is where the comics went. She goes to the home world and she actually gets trained by them, so she's fighting alongside them. And I when I heard there was a second one, I was literally thinking, oh my god, they're going to redeem this series. So actually, no. Oh dear.
No. No.
Anyway, back to Covenant.
I wonder if the reason that Ridley Scott's just going to keep making them is to stop the Neil Blomkamp thing from happening, because his idea was to just junk off the third and fourth movie and just kind of reset it with like Sigourney Weaver and Michael Biehn ushering in like a new generation of Marines and stuff, which would be cool. I'd like to see that for sure.
Definitely.
But
bearing in mind where the series went after that, they got to Earth and stuff. Even the scene, apparently there was a scene where they actually landed on Earth at the end of Resurrection, but it was canned. Yeah, originally it was meant to be a scene where they were actually on Earth, but they didn't take it that far. So I don't know, maybe they didn't have faith in the old direction anyway, and it hasn't gone any further. But
I think it was...
Yeah, go on.
No, you go on.
Oh, well, I was going to say... sorry, go on.
I think it was Sigourney Weaver who was the big player in that series of films, like continuing to happen. It was so kind of down to her star talent that those films were getting made.
Yeah.
That was the through line. But I think nowadays we're in a world where the franchise is kind of bigger than any individual actor,
definitely.
so they can afford to do all sorts of things with it. But I think overall, I think Alien Covenant actually makes Prometheus slightly better from what I remember of it. I was going to rewatch Prometheus, but I just couldn't be arsed. So I wouldn't mind seeing it. I might watch it again now, maybe when Covenant comes out on Blu-ray or something.
Yeah. I did like the way that you saw the alien creatures sort of getting larger as you saw them. Like I think they're called protomorphs, the earlier ones, the little white ones. When they come out, it was like they were tiny. Then they're actually growing, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where it's this large, creepy, human-sized, sort of heavy-breathing... God, that scene... this is another massive spoiler. The scene where... I don't remember which one it was. It was the new the second in command's friend, where she's in the room and she goes off by herself, and I initially thought, oh God, why would you do that? You're in a strange planet, in a strange room, with a strange android.
There's a lot of people doing very stupid things in this. It's proper horror movie cliche.
It's when she gets snacked on by the alien, by the protomorph, and it's just, that proper made me jump. I was not expecting that.
I like it when that thing bursts out and she like gives it a good old kick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh right, she's actually going to go toe to toe with this thing. Oh no, it's too fast.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I think
it was bloodier than I thought it would be. I would definitely say that. I was impressed with how far they took it. Like when you saw that woman's head floating around in the puddle. I was just like, God.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I like what they did overall. Like I said, some of the set pieces were absolutely fantastic. I just hope they don't take too many liberties with it, because they've got a lot of lore and everything, and they should build on that. They should revisit it and build, rather than trying to overwrite it. I thought that the way that the new Xenomorph was born was, I don't know, maybe the idea that a robot with 10 years and nothing to do but just obsess over creativity created the Xenomorph species that we know. It kind of makes sense, because, you know, it's a human mind, but imagine a robot mind that doesn't sleep. 10 years of genetic engineering could work, but I just thought the way that it was born and suddenly it was becoming this thing really quickly, and I just remember, you think it doesn't make sense when you pair it to Alien.
Yeah.
But the way that the chest burster comes out, it has to shed its skin and then it grows. So it's like a little life form, it's all cooped up. But it's just the way that the arms were expanding, it just grew really quickly. And it was already black, and the way it came out almost fully formed. I thought, little bits like that, come on Ridley Scott, it's your own thing, you know, you should know better than that. I thought that would be that kind of did grate on me a tiny bit. But overall, I got to say, good effort. I really did enjoy it. I left that cinema thinking, wow, so much fun.
Yeah, I just really hope that Ridley Scott and the writers have kind of got the whole origin part out of their system, and can just carry on kind of making alien movies that sort of advance. I don't know. It doesn't need to advance the story.
Well, it's just other stories elsewhere, isn't it? I mean, we just want to see other people dealing with this space threat. This menace, the sheer horror, how they deal with it. Hell, they don't even have to be human. I would love to see other alien races and possibly a human that's been stranded there or whatever dealing with these things. It would just be so much. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about the creature itself. I mean, I know that the whole idea of the original Alien film was that it was so unknown.
Yeah.
Hence the term alien. You know, that was the whole point, that it was about a creature that was so freakishly different and otherworldly that you just didn't know how to deal with it. But I'm certainly up for seeing like more creative uses of them in cool like action sequences and maybe like them getting to do cooler stuff, you know, in a kind of them as anti-hero type way. Because as much as they are horrific, you know, people are fans of the series because they're fans of the creature and all of that. So
there was one thing I did stay. Well, I popped out and came back in. I wondered whether there was like a post-credit sequence, because there was something that David said in that film, and it made me think, oh, maybe there's something at the end. It was when the when the actual facehugger, and it got the guy, and he basically said, "What are you waiting for?" And he said, "Mother." And I wondered whether that was going to be the birth of a queen, but as it came out, it wasn't a queen. Maybe it was, as we knew, but it died. I half expected a post-credit sequence of on the planet, you know, the one that got crushed by the arm, to be like on the ground, and then the alien queen walks up to it and then looks up and kind of goes really angry or whatever like that. You know, something to show that, oh my God, there's more of them on this planet. If anyone goes back there, they are fucked. And stuff's going to just spread. I really expected that to happen, but it didn't. And as cheesy as it would have been, I would have thrown that in there, just as a way to show that he had thought about this species and a way to propagate it. Because how would you get the eggs? Because the eggs are laid by the queen.
Yeah. No, that's very true, and that might just be a hint of where the next film might go, as in like the creation of the queen.
Yeah.
But they'll need to think of some other quirky.
It just seemed like he was creating the egg before the chicken that laid the chicken egg, sort of thing. It's like he's kind of doing this. Which came first, the alien or the egg?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that poor girl who he was with, who reconfigured him. I thought maybe she might be the queen, but we saw what became of her, and it wasn't pretty. But I did
that would have
appreciate
made more sense.
Yeah, I liked how much they leaned into the kind of grotesque imagery. That was all on full display in this film. So
yeah,
cool.
I think it was a good attempt. And
yeah, definitely not as bad as I was expecting. And yeah, it's definitely one of the better films I've seen so far this year. Cool. All right, I think we'll leave it there, shall we?
Yeah, I think so.
This has been the Not Watching podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself, Marcus and Ian talk about video games and virtual reality on the Not Playing podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening podcast. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya!